Alright, yeah, and welcome back to some more Magic Duels with the final episode with our Abzan Revolt Sacrifice deck. Alright guys, let's not waste any time, let's get into the games. See you there. Okay, we're in, and on the play, if we had an extra land in place of probably the Evolutionary Leap or even the Call for Unity, this would be a snap keep, but I think we can do better. This one is much better. Okay, we're going to lead off with the Evolving Wilds here. I think it's not ideal because I really did want to sacrifice it for the hidden stockpile, but we don't have white mana in this hand, so to avoid dropping off of our curve just slightly, I'm going to have to sack it now and hope we get some sort of renegade map or something like that. Green, white for our opponent. Okay. Well, we get an Evolving Wilds, so that's good. We won't be triggering Revolt this turn, but next turn we can absolutely trigger it. So if he plays any kind of creature or anything like that, the turn after we can Vengeful Rebel it. Otherwise we'll just be sacking our servo and scrying every single turn, which is going to be pretty sweet. Alright, looks like humans. Green, white humans. Doesn't really matter if this guy gets his Renown counter, because Vengeful Rebel's still going to be able to take him out. And it's actually a pretty decent blocker for most of the cards that he's got, really. That's the hope, anyway. Right, we're going to sack this Evolving Wilds again. Get a white source, because we need the double white for the Call for Unity. That's going to trigger Revolt as well, which means we get our servo token. We won't be blocking here. We want to be able to sack this on our turn. So if our opponent knew what our hand was, he would want to remove this servo, because otherwise we get Revolt every single turn just by keeping it around. And that means next turn Vengeful Rebel's going to come down, take this guy out. Whenever another human attacks or blocks... Oh no, whenever this attacks or blocks, humans get +1/+1. Okay. Not a problem. No blocks. You can flip. Is it other humans? Does it include itself? Other humans, yeah. Okay. Not that it really makes a difference, because Vengeful Rebel is going to be able to block it as well as kill the Lieutenant this turn, which is going to be pretty sweet. Hello, Evolving Wilds. I'm going to hold off on cracking the Evolving Wilds here, mostly because it's a free way of triggering Revolt, and currently we have our servo to sack away, so, you know, we'll see. Alright, we're going to swing in with our servo, see if he wants to block. Might as well try. If he blocks, then it's not likely to work in the future. There you go, he's letting the 1 damage through, because we're sacking this anyway. So if we feign a pump spell, we can actually get the extra 1 damage in before we kill it. So, let's take out the white just in case. Sack that. Scry a Fatal Push. You know what? That's not too bad, actually. We'll go Vengeful Rebel and kill the Lieutenant. So we've got the Rebel down to block this Captain. We're getting a servo back as well to trigger Revolt. The Faithful... the push on top is going to be able to kill pretty much anything in his deck. I'm almost certain he curves out at like 3. But even if he doesn't, he goes up to 4, so it's pretty sweet. There's another Lieutenant. And we're kind of just stalling out until we can get Call for Unity online, which technically could be next turn. We can get it down next turn, but we can't trigger Revolt. But I think just by getting it down is going to be just good enough, as long as he doesn't have enchantment removal. Which, maybe if he knew how good Hidden Stockpile was, he would have probably already done it by now. So we're going to go with a Forest and a Call for Unity. And pass the turn. No attacks there, he has a first striker, so less likelihood of him thinking that we've got a pump spell. Especially since we actually can't make any use of it if he does call our bluff. But we've got a pretty good board set up here now. Every single turn our creatures are going to get slightly bigger, and they're just going to get out of his range. Okay, so he is getting in with his captain. Do I want to let it go? I think this time I'll let it go, because we are going to go to a 4-3 at the end of next turn, which is going to be enough to block it. It's dependent, of course. We've got to get rid of this lieutenant as well with our fatal push, in order to block it nicely. We'll also have a servo as well. Vigilant trampling at 5-4. That is an elf. You don't see that every day. Alright, I'm guessing our opponent doesn't have all of the cards in the game, judging by that. Okay, I think what we want to do is try and see if our opponent falls for this bluff. Hey, you've got a 5-4. Do you want to block my 1-1? He does. Alright, you called our bluff. We're going to sack it anyway, because we want to trigger Revolt. So, sack it, scry 1. A Renegade map. To the bottom. I think it's good enough. And then we want to play our Swamp, so that we can Fatal Push this guy off the field. And Vengeful Rebel the other one off the field. He still has a 5-4, but in no time at all, these guys are going to get pretty hard to deal with. We pass a turn, we get a servo back, and every creature gets +1/+1. Which means that they can now block and kill his final creature. Which is awesome. A Hamlet Captain, again. And let's see if he wants to swing in. Nope. Alright, we've got him where we want him. Ooh, Tyler's Tracker. Alright. That's pretty sweet. So, Tyler's Tracker coming down. Evolving Wilds coming down gets us a clue. With the clues, we're going to be able to trigger Revolt fairly consistently. I'm going to crack the Evolving Wilds now, just to get another clue. For the sake of having another clue. Get a Plains. And now we can sack a clue and sack our servo, or whatever he blocks if we don't like it, in order to scry. So we're going to attack like that. See where he blocks. We're getting that servo back anyway, thanks to the hidden stockpile. So he's taking a lot of damage here, and everything's going to get +1/+1 at the end of turn as well. So now's really one of his best times to try and kill things. This won't pump the Path Warden either, because it is an elf warrior, not a human. Okay. Just going to have a sip of my tea. Lovely. Yes, I'm incredibly British. What can I say? Alright, I'm happy with that. I'm also happy with that. Pump spell? Unless he's... yeah, Blessed Alliance. Is he making us sack an attacking creature? Let me just check. Let's have a look. Target opponent sacrifices an attacking creature and he gains 4 life. Okay, sure. Well, we're just gonna sack our servo, I think. I want to make this trade. This trade's a lot better for me. And he still takes 4. No cards in hand. He has 1 card in hand, but I still think we've got him on the ropes just by our board state alone. We get a servo back, and everything gets +1/+1, which means we can now efficiently block his creatures. we get to sack a clue on our end step to refill our hand a little bit, which is going to pump up Tracker. If you attack in, I'm going to block. I do not care. Okay. So if he has a pump spell, I might as well lose it on a servo. So we'll draw a card. It is another hidden stockpile. That is lovely. And another Evolving Wilds. So we're going to be able to get 2 servos every single turn now. I think this is officially over for our opponent. So Evolving Wilds gets us another clue. Clue that we can sack. We're going to get in with all of our creatures. We only have to sack a clue or an Evolving Wilds this turn and trigger Revolt. And we get some more Scions and they all get pumped up. Yep, blocking Titanic Growth. Okay. Well, guess what? We're going to sack that to scry. Since we're not killing it, I might as well scry from its death. An Anguished Unmaking, that seems good enough for me. If he has any kind of special answer, then Anguished Unmaking is going to deal with it. And pass the turn. Get 2 Scions. Everything gets +1/+1. Alright. Even in this current situation, if he got rid of our Call for Unity, we're still that far ahead that our board state's just going to progress way further than he anticipates. So, let's go sack an artifact. I'm going to draw a card. Opponent's wondering what's going on. It's fair enough. And I think we'll sack the other clue as well. You got this, opponent. You got this. There you go. Alright. We'll sack the other one. Let's get all the cards in hand. So we're getting an Anguished Unmaking and 2 unknown cards this turn. Didn't really have to do that. We've got him dead on board, but, you know, it's the correct play nonetheless. Alright, swinging with everything. That's 12 damage minimum. Do you block, opponent? We know he should, but will he? That's another question. There you go. You pausing? Does our opponent think that that bug still works? Ah, interesting. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next game. Alright, we are back in, and on the play, we have all the mana that we could ever ask for. Resourceful Return, Vengeful Rebel. Doesn't have much of a enabler for Revolt, consistently anyway. We have the Evolving Wilds for a turn. But, I think this is good enough. Alright, we'll go with a Isolated Chapel, I think. I want to hold on to that Evolving Wilds and actually use it for triggering Revolt. And since we're not really doing anything for the first couple of turns, I might as well just play tap lands and get our mana sorted. A red into Inventor's Apprentice, so this might be vehicles or mono-red aggro, we'll see. Could be red-black artifact aggro as well. Alright, we might as well just go Swamp here, I guess. Woodland Cemetery is going to come into play untapped on the next turn now, so we'll save the Fatal Push. Doing it on this Nerd Ape right now is just meh. Especially at this early stage in the game anyway. So you can get your 1 damage in. It's red-blue, so this might be Thopters. Or just blue-red artifacts. Also an option. Okay. We're going to go Woodland Cemetery, and we're going to pass again. And the reason for passing is next turn I get to Vengeful Rebel with an Evolving Wilds to kill the Inventor's Apprentice, or the next best thing that he casts. So we don't get the pressure on the board, but we get his pressure off the board, and then we can start doing whatever we want. Thopter Engineer. See, that is something I would have much rather have gotten rid of. I'm going to get rid of the Inventor's Apprentice here. Mostly because we can't decently block it with the Rebel. We can kill the Engineer, which means the Thopters aren't going to get haste anymore. Flyers are a problem in this deck, unfortunately. Ooh. Alright, change of plans, because we can get Evolving Wilds back with the Rallier here. So if we go Evolving Wilds, crack Evolving Wilds, get a white source for the Call for Unity, trigger Revolt, Rallier comes down, gets to grab us a permanent with converting mana cost 2 or less. So we grab the Evolving Wilds again, which means we can trigger Revolt next turn, and we can still do that Rebel technique. And we got a decent blocker for the Engineer. That seems about right for me. We could even Call for Unity next turn. He's in the right colours as well for... Thopter Spy Network. He's in the right colours as well to not be able to deal with enchantments, which is pretty sweet. So whenever an artifact deals combat damage, he gets to draw a card, unfortunately, and also gets Thopters, as long as he has Thopters. So that's going to be annoying. We might be able to race him though. We do have Rogue's Passage, and if we're going to make some big creatures with Call for Unity, then it's going to work out quite nicely for us. So, we could Vengeful Rebel the Thopter token away, and it means he won't get one next turn with haste, so he won't be hitting us in the air for 2, and it's going to mean that he's going to be forced to play out another creature that generates Thopters before he can get any kind of value from this. Alternatively, getting rid of the Engineer to stop his artifacts from having haste is also pretty important. So I'm not entirely sure how to proceed here. I think first things first, let's see if he wants to trade. Very unlikely. But if he does, then it changes our plans. Yeah, no blocks. Okay. It might have also meant that we end up doing Resourceful Return as well to grab the Rallier back to get our Evolving Wilds back and going through all of that. So our alternative is to crack that Wilds, Vengeful Rebel either his Thopter or his Engineer. Alternatively, we Forest, Call for Unity, crack to trigger Revolt. I'm not sure, to be honest. Well, we're going with a land nonetheless. I think we could probably race him with a Call for Unity. So I'm going to play it, and we're going to crack this wild so that he gets a counter on it. Also means we stand less chance of drawing into lands, which is helpful. We really just want to draw into Revolt Enablers and the like. So let's see if he attacks in with all of his Thopters here. He doesn't draw a card for each of his Thopters as well, which is why I'm not so bothered about him having 2. I'm just kind of bothered about him having 1. And Chief of the Foundry was going to be that one that was going to draw him a card anyway. But now his Thopters are very large, so Vengeful Rebel is now going for the Chief of the Foundry. So I'm glad I didn't spend the Rebel on the Engineer there, because the Chief is a far worse opponent. Saying that, I think we're probably just going to get raced out of this game if we can't kill that Chief very soon. Let's see what we draw. Solemn Recruit. We can't trigger Revolt. Not unless he kills our Rallier or bounces it. Please do one of those things. I actually want you to kill it. no. Damn it. Okay. He's allowing it to live, which is a problem for me. So we're going to go Solemn Recruit. Play Rogue's Passage. And pass the turn. No Revolt triggered this turn, but we do have a 3/3 double striker now, so we can block the Chief. But he's getting for 6 in the air, so we're dead the turn after this. We can get him for 6 with our double strike. Unblockable. Thanks to the Rogue's Passage, but it's just not fast enough, unfortunately. If we'd have killed the Thopter, this current board state would look almost identical, just minus a Thopter. So I still don't think it was a mistake to not kill the Thopter. They wouldn't have haste if we'd have killed the Engineers, but yeah, again, that would just be this board state, except for one of those Thopters would have Summoning Sickness. Maybe it would have made a little bit of difference. It depends on how we draw here. And it's a plane, so yeah, it's game over. We can't do enough damage. Even if we could make both of our creatures unblockable, it wouldn't be enough. Well, what we can do is we can go and Rogue's Passage the Recruit. Make that unblockable. See if we can force a double block. I'm reaching at this point, but of course. Ooh. Brutal Expulsion. Ooh. Come on. He's returning it to our hand. And now we're attacking him with this guy. And he's going to block. And flicker. Ah, damn it. That's another Thopter. It's hitting us for 5 total by the looks of it. Yeah. We could have Vengeful Rebel. So if we hadn't have gone for the Rogue's Passage there, we could have put another blocker down and lived. Also, if we hadn't have attacked as well, then we won't be too foolish. But there you go. Yeah, it's another Thopter. Gives it haste. We're dead in the air. Yeah, it's just a little bit too fast for us, unfortunately. Some more Thopters. Some more haste. We were maybe a turn or two just too slow. Not enough answers to his cards. Yeah. Alright guys, well that is going to do it for today's video. If you did enjoy the deck, then be sure to leave a like. It helps me out a great deal and lets me know you're enjoying the Magic content. If you do enjoy the Magic content, then be sure to subscribe. It is a weekly series, about 3 videos every single week. Maybe even a little bit more here and there. And if you have subscribed and haven't yet done so already, then be sure to hit the little bell icon right next to the subscription button to be notified when I release new videos. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye bye.